Please click on the subscribe button so you get notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first topic of the day is the Micah Parsons trade request, where he personally put in a trade request to Jerry Jones after Jerry Jones came out earlier this week and made comments that if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here, and you can literally just get up and leave. Something along those lines. Don't quote me word for word. But since Micah has made that request, Jerry Jones has had a press conference basically during training camp to address the Micah Parsons trade request. Let's watch this video where he basically responds to Micah. Parsons.
Well, let's put it like this. Surely you guys have been around this stuff and know to recognize negotiation talk, that type of thing. And so that's where I put that.
So are you considering it?
I'm not at this. The facts are that that's like anything else. I think the will of Micah, and that's just part of negotiation.
Would you ever consider trading?
Again, I don't really place that with any real seriousness. Micah's got a bad back. That's like being traded.
Did the request take you by
The whole way it's saying.
Did the request take you by surprise?
Again, no, that's negotiation. I've heard that so many times in my 30 years in the NFL about from not just players but agents, and of course we all understand contracts. We're under contract. That's what we're doing. We're looking at adjusting the contract, but we're under contract, and we're in camp, and that's the way the rules are set up. But that is old stuff, 30 years of old stuff. Some of these issues we're hearing about trading, hurt backs, all that kind of stuff.
When do you start negotiations with these people, Jerry?
This is the first time I've heard Micah Parsons has a hurt back.
I've started negotiations in March.
With his agent?
I said I started negotiation in March, and I've negotiated double handfuls of contracts just like I did in March.
He thought it was
Again, are you asking me?
Yeah.
I started that in March. I visited with him in negotiation discussion.
The meeting was about leadership, not about his contract.
It's my answer. I was negotiating in March.
Aren't you surprised it's gotten to this point?
Not really at all. This is just negotiation.
Is there really
Him at all? Have you talked to him at all since? Again, I sat with him at the Big 12 Conference Championship, sat with him at the Super Bowl. So Mike is easy for me to talk to, and we've had good talks, and we had a good talk regarding negotiation of the contract, the way I have many players. And I don't need to remind you, we've had some great players around here that wanted to renegotiate their contract. We didn't. Put it off to another year, and so that's where I am on it. But is any of the stuff that you hear in the process of a negotiation, you can imagine I should take that for whatever.
Do you expect him to be on the field week one?
Again, I don't want to talk about my expectations. Now, that is speculating, but I can speak to anything that's happened up until now, and that has no sensitivity.
Is it good to see him still at practice, though, even though he made that demand, but he's still out here?
Well, I wish the back would get better.
You wish the back would get better. So the back is not...
Again, I just said I wish the back would get better so we could not have a hurt back.
You talk about 30 years of these types of scenarios. Is there really nothing different about this one from the other?
So pause. Before we continue,
Guys, have you heard? Nelson, tell the people.
Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons.
Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
So this is actually the first time I've heard about Micah Parsons having a bad back. This is the first time I've heard Micah Parsons has had a bad back. other than that, realistically, Micah should have been paid. And usually, when you're in a contract negotiation and you pay high-end people to do the contract negotiations, like an agent, the owner, the GM, whoever's responsible on the organization side to take care of those things should talk to the agent. Now, Jerry, in a way, is right. I think when it came down to, I think Dak's contract, it came down to, I think, Dak talking to Jerry Jones directly and basically telling him, I guess, what he wanted, and that kind of sealed up the deal when that contract was being negotiated. Jerry Jones is notorious for having his ego kind of stroked by his players and basically getting them to bend over backwards and just kind of not grovel, but like kind of just be like, hey man, can you kind of take care of me? That's just the way Jerry Jones likes to kind of do business. And Micah Parsons, even though he's shown by his actions, to be completely honest with you, like right now, he shouldn't even be practicing on the training camp ground, and he's doing everything he's like you're supposed to do, to show that you're for that organization, that you love the organization, that you want to be a part of the organization, and they're not compensating him accordingly. I'll be real with you. I think he saw what Dak did, what CD did, what Ezekiel Elliott did, and saw how that came to the detriment of the team, and he doesn't want to put the team in that position. Now, with that being said, I feel like Jerry's kind of taking advantage of it because Micah is showing up. He is doing the right things to where if a contract doesn't get done, Micah could be franchise tagged for over the next 2 years. And Micah, the way that he plays, would warrant that. Now, here, let's continue watching this video and see what else Jerry has to say.
On it,
We're in good shape. This no
potentially talking to other teams, and you said you wanted, you don't want anybody that doesn't want to be here. Micah Parsons says he doesn't want to be here. How is that any different?
no different than a bad back.
What?
Did you decline to negotiate with the Eagles here?
Oh my God,
Did you decline to negotiate with him last year, like he said?
with who?
With Micah last year?
With who? Micah?
Yeah. Did you? He said you want to negotiate last year, and you got.
I know you misheard me. I don't think we got any negotiations last year. Closest thing to last year was March of this year when we had a good negotiation.
He said you wanted to talk before last season. Do you recall anything about that?
Well, again, it could very well be. It's what he wants, and so that could cover a lot of ground.
When he put out the note yesterday saying he'd ask for a trade, did that make you angry?
Not a bit. Not a bit. I can't tell you how many hundreds of times I've heard that negotiation.
Jerry, what do you think all the fans chanting his name and kind of supporting him and, hearing them all screaming out there?
It was just so much louder last year walking off this field with Lamb.
Have you talked to Micah in the last 24 hours?
No.
Do you plan on getting with him
Again, I don't get into what my plans are at all.
Do you think this relationship is salvageable?
I think the relationship is what it is. It is what it is. What it is. Period. Whatever what it is. Well, it's our relationship. I sat with him at the Big 8 to Big 12 championship. I sat with him at the Super Bowl. I'm like Michael.
So for you, your things changed. It's always in the past me, y'all do these negotiations. So when he had it always usually ends with the player you want and the contract and a good number.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm really glad you brought that up. It seems like that we forget that it's been less than a year, and I paid the highest been paid in the NFL to Dak, and I paid a big price for Lamb. And anybody that says I'm not interested in financially rewarding my players hadn't been looking at the tea leaves. And so there's always negotiation, and
But that, in my opinion, is the issue here, right? Because we know you're going to give Micah the money. We know you're going to basically give him the deal that he wants. Why do you have to make him kind of grovel for it? I'm not going to go through the entire 16-minute video because it's just a lot of Jerry basically just saying the same thing, saying basically nothing. The relationship, I guess, is what it is. I guess the relationship with Jerry and all of his players is what it is. But in other terms, let's read part of this ESPN article where it basically covers Micah's portion, not necessarily Jerry's portion, like we kind of just heard right now in the video. Let me tee that up for you guys. Da-da-da-da-da. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Ooh. All right, here we go. So Parsons made his trade request public with a social media post citing, among other things, repeated shots from the organization. Unfortunately, I no longer want to be here, Parsons wrote. I no longer want to be held to closed-door negotiations without my agent present. I no longer want shots taken at me for getting injured while laying it all on the line for the organization, our fans, and my teammates. I no longer want narratives created and spread to the media about me. I had purposely stayed quiet in hopes of getting something done. Parsons was on the practice field Saturday, starting the workout less than 10 yards away from Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. However, for the first time in camp, he was not in his number 11 practice jersey and spent more time with quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers than with the defense during the drills. Ooh, note that. As the team went through some 11-on-11 work, Parsons sat on the grass underneath the perch, where Jones watches practice between the two fields. After practice, a loud chant of "We want Micah" broke out from the fans near the field. Jones said he has not spoken with Parsons since the request was made. Jones reiterated he and Parsons reached an agreement on a deal in March when they met in the owner's office. In his social media post, Parsons said the visit was supposed to be about leadership, and Jones turned it into the contract. Jones said Parsons took that offer off the table. Jones would not divulge specific details of the agreement, but made a reference to guaranteeing somebody almost $200 million in comments Saturday. Ooh, what y'all don't know is what I offered him, and it's a hell of a lot more than you think I did, Jones said. That's what you don't know. But my point is I reached. My point is I reached. Make no mistake about it, I reached. Okay, so he reached. Apparently Jerry Jones reached hard and uh offered him a shit ton of money, and Micah, I guess, didn't want to take it. But again, it you should probably deal with his agent. Like, uh, let's continue. Since Jones and Parsons met back in March, elite pass rusher Myles Garrett, 4 years, $160 million contract. Max Crosby, 3 years, $106.5 million. And TJ Watt, 3 years, $123 million, have signed extensions. Parsons is set to make $21.324 million this season on the 5th-year option. Without an extension this season, the Cowboys could use the franchise tag on Parsons from 2026 to 2028. That means that's about 2 to 3 years under the team's control. And if Parsons continues to play the way that he's played over the last few years, granted they still can't stop the rush, and granted there are games where Micah kind of just disappears. Micah will warrant like getting paid being franchise tagged the next 3 years straight if they can't come to an agreement. Micah is that kind of player where you franchise tag him every single year that he is available to be franchise tagged. Let's continue. Let's see. Parsons is set to make where is it? However, the last number would be at the cost of the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Not for his position, but quarterbacks in the NFL. That's crazy. The Cowboys and Parsons agent David Mulgeta have not had any talks about a deal. Jones mentioned that he has done contracts with star players over the years by the double handful. It's very important that if you want to change the contract that we've got right now, which this would, that I agree to what we changed, Jones said. That's why it was so good when we sat down together and spent a lot of time going back and forth adjusting, and we had that exercise together in March. What about the agent? My experience has been the agent is not the one that solves the problems you have when you're executing what you said you would do in the contract, Jones said. So I like to deal directly with the player when it's of this nature. What? The Cowboys have a recent history of protracted negotiations when it comes to signing their star players. 2 years ago, future Hall of Fame guard Zach Martin missed the early portion of training camp looking for a renegotiated deal. Last year, CeeDee Lamb signed a 4-year, $136 million contract after missing the entire portion of camp in Oxnard. Dak Prescott agreed to a deal for $60 million a year hours before last year's season opener. Ultimately, however, all of those deals have gotten done. I'm really glad you brought it that base. You heard what he just said. Basically, that he's going to end up paying. With that being said, we all know Jerry's going to end up paying Micah. If he doesn't end up paying Micah, he could get a rant, like he could get a Brinks truck for Micah. Now, Jerry is not the savviest of deal makers, so if somebody could give him, I feel like somebody could give him a low ball offer for Micah Parsons, and Jerry might actually just end up taking it because just to spite Micah and to spite the team. I don't know. Jerry Jones is the type of person that I see doing some weird stuff. With that being said, guys, this concludes my thoughts on the whole Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones trade contract negotiation saga. I think it's ridiculous Jerry hasn't paid Micah. In summation, I just think it's ridiculous Jerry hasn't paid Micah. Micah clearly wants to be a Cowboy. He's done everything as the franchise player, as the franchise star for the Dallas Cowboys, and for Jerry to be treating Micah Parsons, of all the players that he has on his roster, like this, in my eyes, is kind of ridiculous. And if Micah leaves Dallas, better for Micah. His Super Bowl winning chances go way up if he gets out of Dallas, in my personal opinion. Yeah, we'll be right back after these messages.
Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out A&A Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
Guys, you're watching a Shady Mob production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mob podcast, where we break down all the latest content and talk about life. Please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops.